All right, as kids head back to school, one of the things parents have to worry about is sleep.
Yes, yes. During the summer, we may sneak in a few extra Z's, but now that has to change as parents and children have to get back on a back-to-school schedule.
Yeah, and here to help us with some tips is Sofia Axelrod. She is a research scientist at Rockefeller University with a doctorate in neurogenetics. She studies and writes about sleep.
Thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
So you're here to tell us what we should do, right, to get our kids back on that sleep schedule for school. So what do we do? Because I've got 2 kids, and getting them back on a back-to-school sleep schedule is a tough one.
Yes, same here. 2 kids, both in school. And I think what happens to most of us over the course of summer is that our sleep schedules shift later because we typically don't want to be getting up at 6 a.m. And we travel, there's jet lag, and now suddenly everybody has to be getting up really early again. And now is actually the perfect time to work on this, not next week, not on the first day of school, but over the next couple of days. Because if we start working on this on Thursday when school starts, we will put ourselves and our kids basically into jet lag.
Oh.
But if we start shifting right now, yes, this is what basically is happening. Is if you suddenly get up an hour earlier or 2 hours earlier than usual, your body doesn't understand what's happening and our circadian rhythms collapse and our body gets very confused. And all our physical systems don't work properly anymore and we're tired and cranky. But now is the time to shift. So every day, 20, 30 minutes, no blue light at night, plenty of light during the day, and you will be already there.
Oh, okay.
Come first day of school.
Okay, well, what do we do if, the kids do have trouble going to bed and getting up earlier?
Yes, especially teenagers actually have a naturally shifted circadian rhythm. So they're natural night owls, as we call them. We have larks and owls. These are our chronotypes. So what our natural preference for time of day activity is. And so especially teenagers, they just naturally shift later, and that's a huge problem for them to get up early in the morning. I remember that from myself. And there it's extra important to control their light environment. That means at night, we're all glued to our screens and we watch TV and we have our computers and iPads. Make that stuff dim. And also they have this new function called night shift or night mode to make the screen more yellow or red. That stuff works because that filters out the wavelengths of light that tell our body that it's daytime. And so by removing that, we tell our body and our kids' bodies that it's actually nighttime, and they will naturally get tired and they will naturally produce, for example, sleep hormones like melatonin. But if we don't do that, the light will suppress melatonin.
Should we take devices away altogether at a certain time? And then after you do that, what is the exact number of hours that they should be getting when school starts of sleep?
Yeah. So yes, of course, no devices and no light would be ideal. But as parents, we know that sometimes
that's not going to happen.
Sometimes, yeah, exactly. You just need your devices to to have them. Depending, it's just a battle that sometimes you don't want to fight.
Yeah.
And in that case, the practical solution is keep the device, but make it dim and red or yellow.
But how many
and that
hours
will have
of
the
sleep
same
should they be
effect
getting?
as no device. And then, so it depends. For kids, this changes. And also, we all have a different sleep need. You get these news that everybody needs 8 hours or kids need 10 hours. It depends. Kids also have different sleep needs, and that's actually genetically determined. So I would say, elementary school kids typically sleep 9 hours at night, and then teenagers still sleep often 8-9 hours, and then they basically are like adults. But there is a range. So for a specific child, that might be less or more, and you probably know what that is. So for very young children, if they wake up during the night, typically we're trying to have them sleep more than they physically can. And counterintuitively, we should move bedtime a little later, not earlier.
Okay.
Well, let me ask you, what do you do if you find your child, seems sleep deprived now?
Yeah, now is the time to, so if your child is like, cannot get up in the morning, is really tired also during, because not being able to get up in the morning and being really tired during the day is not the same thing. Not being able to get up in the morning is typically, a circadian problem, that their rhythm is shifted. But being really tired during the day means they're not getting enough sleep, right? So that means we really have to put all our effort to starting to get them up earlier, and at the same time getting them to bed earlier as well with these tools that I just described. Light is our biggest asset here. Also, what people don't realize, during the day we need plenty of light. I'm sitting outside here. It's actually 100 times brighter than inside, and we don't even feel that. But our body feels that. So get those kids outside.
Great
Get
advice.
them plenty of light during the day. That will help them be tired at night.
Wow.
And
that
if
makes
you
a lot of
don't,
sense.
All right.
Yeah, and if you're like in an indoor environment and you don't have access to outdoor, get one of these little seasonal affective disorder lamps. Maybe you heard of that. You can buy them on Amazon for $20-30. That gives them the light and you the light to really during the day and train your circadian rhythm and then be tired at night.
All right. Well, sleep research scientist Sofia Axelrod, thanks so much for your time this morning.
Thank you all.
All right.